This is a cologne style fragrance that seriously packs a punch. So let's review Thameen Chords now. Hey, what's up guys? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content, so you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button down below and also make sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. So today we are reviewing a new fragrance from the house of Thameen London. And if you aren't familiar with this house, they are a British based niche house that actually creates some bangers. I do own a few from them. I haven't really been disappointed by anything I've tried from this house thus far. And Chords is their newest fragrance in their Brit Alone collection, which is kind of, like I said, a British take on that cologne genre style of fragrance, which are usually like very fresh, uplifting, and bright, and most of the time are very transparent and aren't that strong. This, however, is the exact opposite. But I'm excited to be bringing this review to you guys, and I believe this is the first review I have on a Thameen fragrance. I do know their most popular is probably carved oud, which is very similar to oud wood, which I definitely need to get a bottle of and try because I know a lot of you guys recommend that. Maybe sometime in the future, but first I do want to shout out Twisted Lily for sending this over for review. Of course, that's not going to change my opinions on the fragrance. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't, as always. Let's go over some information. Now, this was launched in 2024. It just came out recently. For the retail price, only size these come in, which is the 100 ml, is going to set you back $295, which of course that is pretty expensive, but at the end of the day, it is a niche brand that comes out with very high quality fragrances, so you kind of expect that price range. Concentration with this one is considered a cologne elixir, but I believe it's more so like an eau de parfum, so we're going to go with that, which is pretty highly concentrated. Obviously it's a little bit less than an extrait, but much more than like an eau de cologne or an eau de toilette. The perfumer behind Chords is a master herself, and it is Nathalie Lorson, who's known for making like Bentley for Men Intense, Givenchy Gentleman, and has a huge resume, so you know a good nose went behind this. All the information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with Thameen Chords now. Take a look at the box presentation, which I actually really like the kind of scheme they're going for. Of course, you have the Thameen logo, the Brit Alone collection, which is kind of like a cool take on that naming. Thameen London on the bottom, on the side 100 ml. On this side, just some more information, and then on the back, more information as well as a barcode and batch code to authenticate your product and see when it was produced. And when you take the sleeve off, you do have this very nice box where your fragrance is housed in this cutout there. All in all, beautiful box presentation, and let's look at the bottle now. All right, take a look at the bottle. Of course, all the Brit Alone collections come in this frosted glass that is very heavy. You can tell this is very high quality glass they're using. Of course, in this blue kind of sinister Thameen color scheme going on. On the bottom, you do have embossed as well, Thameen London, the sticker with some information. On the back, you will find your batch code. On top, you have that logo. Nothing inside, nothing on the atomizer, and this is magnetic, and it's very, very strong, so you can't pick it up with confidence. In the top, you have bergamot, neroli, and orange blossom. In the mid, you have tobacco, ylang ylang, and honey. And in the base, you have leather, cedar, and cypriol oil, and this will be classified as a citrus leather. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. Very good distribution on that, and it is pressurized, which is always a plus. Now, let's go ahead and remind myself of Chords. Right away, this is a very unusual, very unique take on a cologne-based fragrance. In the opening though, you are going to get this very bright kind of tart bergamot note that smells very natural, like very high quality perfume oils went into this, along with some of those white florals like the neroli and orange blossom. But the neroli stands out the most, and for some reason it kind of gives off this British tea vibe about it that makes for an awesome opening that will leave you impressed with how this is kind of combined together. As we start making our way into the mid of Chords is when you're going to get this very warm, earthy tobacco along with a very, very sweet honey note. And honey and tobacco are such a good combination when they're kind of blended together, and it definitely shows in this. Now, if you are a fan of something like zaharoff Nexos, this is very similar, kind of in the same genre as Nexos, and sort of a citrus, tobacco, honey style fragrance. Not identical at all. Just if you like something like that, you probably will enjoy this. but it also does remind me of Louis Vuitton's Au Hasard, which is also a very citrus leather based fragrance, and I believe that is possibly getting discontinued. If you're familiar with Au Hasard and you like that, then you will also like this. So it does remind me of Nexos and Au Hasard a little bit, because when you make your way into the base of Chords, it does give off this very rugged, slightly animalic leather note, which a lot of people don't think of leather as an animalic note, but of course it is, since it does come from an animal. But alongside the leather, you do get a very woody cedar wood, and it's an unusual combination to have a citrus leather. That's why it's very unique and does sort of remind me of Au Hasard from Louis Vuitton. So just to break it down again for you guys, in the opening you're going to get a very bright citrus bergamot along with this kind of tea-like neroli note, which starts to dry down to this earthy tobacco, very sweet, a little bit cloying honey, but it's not in a bad way. And then you're left with a rugged animalic leather and woody cedarwood base, and just makes for a very complex kind of cologne style fragrance. For the best seasons to rock Chords, for me primarily, I'm going to be wearing this bad boy in the fall and spring, which is a little bit different because most of the time you have a fragrance that's good for the fall and winter, or you have a fragrance good for the spring and summer. This is kind of in the middle because I don't really see that it's bright enough to be worn in a very high heat summer day because of how thick it is. And also, I don't think it's thick enough to be worn in the winter time. At the end of the day, you could obviously wear it all 4 seasons. It does give off a versatile kind of edge to it for each season, but for me, primarily fall and spring is what this is targeted towards. So for occasion, I actually think this smells very formal. It smells like somebody that's dressed up a little bit rather than kind of just wearing cozy kind of lounge around clothes. It just gives off this sophisticated nature. Somebody maybe in a suit, a tux, a button up, wearing some dress shoes. That's the vibe it gives off for me. And I can actually see this being perfect for a date situation. Maybe like on a nice spring, breezy day, walking in the park, being around kind of nature, things like that is the vibe it also gives off. If you're looking for a unique kind of formal attire situation fragrance, this might be one you want to check out. For gender, I believe all the fragrances from the Brit Alone collection is targeted as unisex. I might be wrong though, however, this is unisex. Leaning more on the masculine side of things though, just because of the tobacco, honey, cedarwood, a leather kind of vibe going on. It does lean masculine, but I could possibly see a woman rocking this if she really wanted to. Now for age groups, there's nothing really playful, youthful, or immature about this fragrance. It does lean on the mature side. I can see like a gentleman that's got his life together, maybe in like his 30s or even above, possibly rocking this the absolute best. That's just the kind of picture I have in my head when I smell this. Just somebody that's well put together, knows what he's doing in life and knows what he wants from life as well, is what I get from Chords. And I know a lot of people always comment about my age grouping or whatever, but I'm trying to paint you guys the best picture for these fragrances. But at the end of the day, if you are younger, you like this, you can wear it, of course. Nobody's saying you can't. Just in my head, it is a mature leaning fragrance. So wrapping the review off, talking on the performance that you're gonna get from Chords. So usually when it comes to the cologne style fragrances, you think of lackluster performance because most of the time that's what it is. It's a very airy kind of eau de cologne style fragrance. This though, like I said in the intro, does pack a hefty punch. And I got about average, maybe possibly slightly above average longevity with that around 8-hour mark. I can see this one reaching for the 10 hours of longevity from my testing. It's just a very potent style fragrance. Like I said, it's too potent even to be worn in like the summertime for me. So you are gonna get very respectable longevity. When it comes to the projection, it was about moderate. It wasn't necessarily like a weak kind of soft projection, but it also wasn't room-filling loud projection either, just right down the middle, which means people will smell you, but it's not gonna fill an entire room. And when you're kind of walking by, people will get a whiff of the CRs that this is putting out. So trust me, people will smell you and probably ask you what you're wearing because it does come across extremely unique, especially to the average person. Just an absolute stunning British style fragrance that we got with Chords. I also do own Bohemian Infusion, which is also part of the Brit Alone collection. That though is much fresher, targeted towards like the summertime, and maybe I will review that down the line if you guys want to see it. Besides that, leave a comment down below some fragrances from Thameen that I should check out. Like I said, I really want to try Carved Oud, since that is like the most hyped from the house. But also, if you have any other recommendations, leave a comment. Besides that though, leave a like, subscribe below if you haven't already, and you already know I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.